I want to thank everyone for joining us again. We're going to start, as always, with questions that we have in the room. Please raise your hand if you have a question for Coach Kelly. And if there are no questions, okay, Rick.
Cal's had a lot of injuries and a lot of personnel changes. How much of a challenge is it for you to kind of come up with a game plan when there are so many people in and out of the lineup?
I mean, it's not hard. You know, they run the same scheme, so that's what your game plan is against. You know, what are they going to do defensively, or what are they going to do offensively against you? So, I mean, you can see that on film.
So. Questions? Rob.
As efficient as Marcus has been, I realize every team tries to do different things defensively. I mean, is that opening things up for you guys? Are people having to, are you catching people on their heels at all because of the balance that he's able to provide, the threat, the consistency of the passing threat he seems to be able to provide?
Yeah, I don't know if you're catching people on their heels, but when you have a quarterback that's as accurate as him, and you know the ability at receiver to make plays, you know, obviously you're just making people defend more of the field. You know, when the quarterback's not as much of a threat, you can pack more people in the box and defend one aspect more than another. And you know, as we like to talk about, make people play left-handed. You know, and I think what Marcus gives us the ability to do is, if you want us to throw it, we'll throw it. And if you want us to run it, we'll run it. And when you have the ability to be successful in both phases, it makes you a more potent attack.
Steve Summers.
Coach, what does Cal present to you as the biggest challenge you're going to face?
Just like everybody we play, you know, a talented football team. You know, it's a, you know, I think our league, obviously the talent level overall is high, and so there's some guys on the defensive side of the ball that are physical football players, run around and make plays. They're good in coverage. You know, they got a couple really good outside linebackers. Their defensive line can present a problem to you. I think they got 3 outstanding running backs in Cefali, Anderson, and Bigelow. Their young receivers are really playing very well for them. Richard Rogers is impressive at tight end. So they're just like every game. You know, you kind of turn the tape on and you don't look at the tape and go, you know, this is this. It's there's talented players at all positions for them, and you got to prepare for that.
Olivia, we're going to go to the phone lines and see if anyone has a question there. If you have a question for Coach Kelly, please press *1 on your telephone keypad.
We have a question from the line of AJ Jacobson, Duck Sports Authority.
Coach, it seemed like this last game your ball carriers made a number of yards without ever being touched by a defender. Can you describe a little bit about the development of the offensive line this season?
Yeah, they've come along. You know, it's a young group. You know, Tyler Johnstone's a redshirt freshman. Ronas is in his second year as a sophomore at center. Same with Jake Fisher. You know, as a full-time starter now, and he's a true sophomore out at right tackle. Kyle Long was inserted into the lineup this week at left guard, and really his first extended playing time, especially inside, you know, to go along with the only senior, Ryan Clanton. So they're starting to gel, they're starting to mesh, and they're doing a really nice job.
And there are no audio questions at this time.
Okay, we'll come back here. Warren Williamson.
Coach, with that, will you talk about the maturation of Kyle and how he did this weekend and how far he's come from the beginning of this year to now?
You know, I think he's got a great skill set, and the development with Kyle was just getting a grasp and an understanding of what our offense was. You know, didn't benefit from being here for spring practice. You know, so really started off new on August 6th when we started. Understands football really well, with being able to put it in our terminology and understand at the pace and tempo we play to be able to adjust and things like that. So I'm really pleased with him so far.
Rob?
The Cal defensive front presents a challenge. It seems like it's giving you guys trouble over the years, particularly down there. Are they still doing a lot of the same things that they've done the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's all personnel driven. So those guys who played against you 2 years ago aren't around. So it's, you know, we've said all along, it's not a scheme, it's players. But they got a couple good guys, and Coleman and Taputi and Chris McCain and those guys up front that, you know, can push the pocket a little bit. And so, but it's always just players. It's really not the scheme that affects you.
This is going to be a quick conference call.